And that would only be addressed through compromise and dialogue. But right now, I think we have run out of time. Time is completely out.
So you agree with the speaker and he says this is not the time to recall parliament?
That one I will leave it to the speaker. But I will look at the practical issues. There are two issues here. Number one, as he indicated, the role of the member of parliament is not only confined to the chamber of parliament. In fact, in some countries, they have designated times in their standing orders when MPs have to be in their constituency. And one of such times is this time when we are about to go to elections. And as he indicated, MPs have to go and account for their stewardship. In Ghana, we don't have, this designated kind of period. But at this time, I think all over the world, there is no MP 1 or 2 weeks before election who sits in the chamber of parliament. In fact, even countries that have very short election periods, like in Japan, MPs have to start campaigning only like 12 days to elections. At that time, there is nobody that you will get whose attention would be on the work of the House. His attention or their attention would be on how to, secure their seats. So that is one side of it. The other side of it is, if you look at the fact that in our constitution and our standing orders, there is nowhere that says, until January 6th, midnight, every 4 years, there is some period when members of parliament should not be in the house. So parliament, in effect, is in existence until that time. So MPs can be called at any time. The speaker sought to balance, these two. The fact that they are still MPs and they have to work, and the fact that they also have to account for their stewardship for a general election that is just, about a week and a half ago. And I think he leaned more towards, this important aspect of their work, which they get to do only once, every 4 years. They've been in the chamber all these about 3.5 plus years. So I think that is perhaps what went into the mind of the right honorable speaker in arriving at the decision.
Very interesting. But there's one thing the speaker points out, that from the way parliament works, he looks at the business and wonders if this is the kind of business that you can start and complete within 2 days. Do you agree with the speaker's observation?
Yes, indeed. As for that one, I totally agree with the speaker, because over the years, we have said that over and over again. Legislature after legislature, both MPP and NDC eras, they, strategically, wait until the last minute of a parliamentary meeting or a parliamentary session to bring a lot of government businesses, which ordinarily will require a lot of time if members have to do the right thing and scrutinize. So look, sometimes when Parliament is about to rise, they sit until midnight. I'm sure you are aware of that. And, by midnight, members of Parliament are so exhausted that every document that is before them, I believe most of them wouldn't have the right frame of mind, to do all the things that are needed. So we have about 20 plus, list of items. 2 days, humanly impossible. So on that count, I think I agree with the right honorable speaker, because for us, I think even if it is one agreement, like there's a 250 million agreement, this requires days and weeks for members of parliament to go through it, comb through the document, and do the proper thing before giving their approval. So on that one, I think the right honorable speaker is on point.
In fact, a phrase that the two sides, Honorable Afenyo Kings and Speaker, have used is in the national interest. Looking at everything that has happened so far, has the Speaker acted in the national interest?
I think, like I indicated earlier, if I base my argument on two things. Number one, the fact that only once every 4 years do members of parliament get a chance to really have proper dialogue with the electorate to say, okay, now this is what I have done, and I seek your mandate for the next 4 years. Will you give me the mandate? So that's one count. And then on the second count of, the fact that members of parliament humanly need a lot of time to do proper scrutiny. I agree with the honorable speaker that he acted in the national interest.
Well, and let me go back to that observation you also made. Him being addressed as leader of government business. Ultimately, one thing has been said by Kwame Kwesi Prajinia, who says judgments of the court do not resolve conflicts. Has the conflict deepened with the speaker then deciding? Because even in his absence on the floor, the day when parliament was recalled, the speaker was still addressing him as majority leader. But now in an official memo, he calls him leader of government business. Has that deepened the conflict? Do you think the speaker has finally decided that I'm taking a different view to this?
Well, I'm not too sure about that. I don't know. But I don't know whether it's a typographical error or that's exactly because I saw the right honorable speaker's signature at the top of the memo, which seems to suggest that he is aware of every word that is on the document. So, if that is the case, I believe we will not be far from true when we say the conflict has really deepened. And like I said, it has not been resolved. Whether it has deepened or not, I believe maybe that's another matter altogether.
Well, always a pleasure talking to you, Doc.
Thank you very much.
I wish you all the best. Dr. Rashid Draman, who is the Executive Director, African Center for Parliamentary Affairs, speaking to us this morning on the decision of the Speaker. We'll try and get a view from one of the sides of Parliament on the decision taken by the Speaker. Now, one thing you get to know about Speaker Bagbin over time, SM, if you deal with him, is that he means what he say and say what he means. That what he doesn't mean, he won't say. He means what he says and says what he means. That's the thing.
Until the soon to form no